Hi chat. Forgot to turn on the receiver. I turned the computer off and it doesn't get power. Welcome in everyone. How you all doing? Happy Friday to you. End of the week. I am Chef JT. I'm gonna be making dinner tonight. We got lamb meat. Got lamb leg meat that I'm going to be breaking down into a lamb curry. Got some couscous. Yeah. Good times. So what's new? What's happening? Welcome in, JK. You keep getting bumped. And wipe off the stovetop while this steeps or drains, or do not know the technical term there, which is I guess it would have to be steep. I mean, it is the saturation time. Hey, Bill guy. Welcome, welcome. Getting started with coffee, like I start all my streams, or at least all my cooking streams. Hi, chicken. Doing well. Thank you for joining me, everyone. I hope you've had a great week. Here's to a great weekend. Cheers. Okay, what are we getting started with here? I think we're starting with veggie chopping. Yeah. If only to do the meat a little bit later. I don't know why I'm trying to shred the skins of this off over the sink. I've lost the light bulb, chat. So we're down a light bulb tonight. We're a little bit dark. That and this one over here is now flickering. I don't know if it's going to continue flickering. Do 1/2 of this bit larger of a dice. And that's going to be for in the actual curry. You'll work for this. I'm going to do some red pepper and some red onion in both the couscous and the curry. So this is for in the curry, and then this is going to be in with the couscous. Need to sharpen this blade. Sit flat. Damn it. Hi, Nan Reader. Welcome, Alex. That onion's getting in my eyes a little bit. We're not quite at watering, but we're definitely at irritation point. Making sure I was cutting through. Didn't look like I was, but I was. Get these smaller guys out of the way here first. Little bitty parts. A little bit more of the smaller cut for with the couscous. Want to sort of match the amount of red onion I got there. Nice, Michael. What? That's horrible. That is... However, that is the problem with mobile kitchens. You use a trailer, at least you get the advantage of not having to worry about your engine breaking. You can just replace the truck. But yeah. You can also have other fun things that I've gone through with my trailer, like running over a skunk and having everything smell lovely for the rest of the day. So we're going to throw the chopped red pepper in with the red onion that's just going curry. We're going to do some celery in with the curry too. And we're also going to do salad tonight. I have no clue. We can throw the celery in both, actually. Do both of them with that, just two different sizes. Yeah, no idea on the tomato sauce thing. It hit the trailer wheel, not like it wasn't on me or anything, or it wasn't on my pets or something. I just watched the trailer off at the end of the day and didn't really notice it when it came back the next day, was it? I worked basically every day with that trailer when I was running with it, but... But yeah, that's horrible. Like, that's gonna knock them out of business for quite a while, at least as far as having a proper kitchen for his business. And it's the sort of thing you gotta hope he's got insurance, and if he's got insurance, then he might be okay, but he's still gonna be out for a while because they're not gonna replace it overnight. You're gonna need tons of... Like, unless he's got, like, a slush fund of cash, like, he's gonna have to wait on insurance money to come in. And that's if he's got insurance. That's a... That certainly doesn't help things. But that's sort of like, I don't know where he lives or where his business is, but here in California, like something like 1/3 of all drivers are driving uninsured without licenses. Like, there's a ridiculous high level of people not being properly set up for driving. I just changed the song. I didn't know that I could do that with my earbud. I know I could turn it off, but let's still go somewhat smaller for in the curry. This celery's got some texture. It's got some oomph. Still not going quite that small, but we also have the problem that anyone that has a property pretty much anywhere outside of California has their vehicles registered at that location rather than here in the US. There's all sorts of, like, Oregon is not close to here. I see all sorts of Oregon plates. Yeah, Michael. Yeah, Alex, yeah. Like, you got so many other problems that I don't think many people even really begin to consider when it comes to mobile kitchens, too. Like, you've got all sorts of different weight all over the place. It's not like it's a standard trailer where everything is just tied down and you know where your center of gravity is. Like, you're driving around with 50, 100-gallon tanks of water sloshing around, and propane tanks, and yeah, Alex, yeah. And then you get other things like you have California requires that when you have a freshwater system in the trailer, you have, I think it's at least 1.5 times, like, it has to be substantially larger, your wastewater tank. And so, yeah, you've got that 50, 100 gallons of fresh water and a nice tight tank going out, but coming back, you have maybe that sloshing that around in a much larger tank. Baffling or not. ended up being more celery than I thought, but oh well. Celery ain't gonna kill me. And I also, like, when I was running mine, like, you would have stuff placed where you want it placed so you can work. You know, it's not placed so that it's, you know, I've got all the heavy packaging and cups and, you know, containers and all of that stuff, which by themselves are light, but by the case are not light. Up top where they're easy and out of the way. That doesn't work great when you're driving around. Onto prepping meat. I might leave most of that. I'm feeling a little thick here. That might be a tough couple of bites, but I'm going with it. I guess I'm not keeping that. Gotta love it when people come into your stream, tell you about things going on in other streams, and then disappear. Do a little curry powder directly on the lamb. Not a lot, just a little bit. Doing a lot more when it comes to the actual curry, but... Why aren't you following me, camera? Yeah, let's do a little cumin too. No. No, we'll wait on that until we're actually searing. Okay, meat's done. Veggies going okay. How's things going with me in California? California's great, other than it's a bit too hot today. And real estate is way too expensive here. Otherwise, it's amazing. I could do with a little less traffic, too. Are you sure you want to ask that question of me? Okay, so meat is set up, hanging out with a little spice. Veggies are mostly cut for the proteins and the couscous. We need salad veggies now. What's the reason for real estate to ever go down in price? Unless everything else in the world is not worth as much. Not necessarily what that was. There is a nearby property that has just been... It caught fire years ago. It's been completely dilapidated. It's been abused by neighbors and others. I did recently write them a letter being like, hey, you want to sell this place to me? One, I don't think that they would want to, because I don't think they really exist anymore, because but two, they'd probably put it at a market at a much higher rate than I'd be interested in paying. But at least this way, maybe if there is someone there, they get a clue that maybe they should do something about this property. So I figure the worst case scenario there is nothing happens, but the second better thing is they clean up that disgusting property. Well, I obviously researched into it enough to find out who it is, so I know that it's owned by a trust. I suspect that the trust owner either doesn't know that they own this house, or they don't exist anymore. May never have existed. I'm sort of surprised why it hasn't already happened. At the same time, Pentoad, I'm sort of like, well, what if they give me a deal that I'd go for? I don't really expect it to happen, but I definitely want to leave that opportunity open. Probably would have to. And I have some rather odd desires compared to most other homeowners for what I want in my home and my kitchen. One of the major ones that I doubt most homes will be able to do, but I would really love to have, is a multi-zone house that's absolutely separated the airflow from the kitchen and the bathroom from the rest of the entire house, because that's where all of the toxins, it's where all the contaminants, it's where all of the nasty aerosols are. I would love to just, go through like a weather door to go into. We got some yogurt here. Do dill. Cilantro. That's the beginning salvo. The other ones are like, I doubt I could ever afford them things. Like, I would want the compressors and the stuff that's making noise in my kitchen, like, routed out of the kitchen. Like, I don't want to hear my refrigerator kick on. I don't want to hear my AC kick on, which is a problem here. Again, more doable, especially if you look at like European appliances. I'm using up this white onion that I have in the salad. I know I didn't really describe what I was doing here, but that's what I'm up to. I mean, most homes don't even have a proper hood vent, much less. Oh, without question on this one, but this one's it just needs to be a replaced state. But I'm not telling my landlord that. Of course, refrigerators have a super short lifetime because none of the people making refrigerators, like, you can buy alternatives and you can make alternatives, but no one's making replacement seals for that door. And that's where all your money in the refrigerator really is keeping it sealed tightly. And those two things there, both the seals and keeping things tightly, is why you keep getting more and more and more and more doors on refrigerators. Let's give you a 2-door refrigerator with a pass-through. Pinto, as for the AC though, the AC is my little cheapo window AC for my whole home. Like, that little thing running over there is the only thing keeping this house not being like 90 degrees right now, or even hotter, because it's interior. At least I think it was over 90 today. It was certainly feeling that way when I was outside. Oh, I don't think the fridge seal's got a major problem with it. I was just saying that's the problem with refrigerators. Like, that's why your refrigerator rating is like in the trash the year after you got it. Do a little honey. We're gonna do a little sweet savory with this dressing. Make it a little sweet, little tangy. A little savory. And let's also go with the obvious fact that this is the renter special. You know, this oven, these are like the renter special appliances. My stacked washer and dryer was like designed in maybe the 50s. Oh, I pay for the power. I mean, I could complain to it, but on the level of, you know, how much do you want to bother your landlord about minor things? Like, I enjoy my situation here. I don't want to destroy that. I want a better situation, but I don't want to destroy this one. And for acidity, a little lemon, or a little citrus champagne, vinegar, cumin, dried oregano, dried thyme, celery salt, regular salt, MSG, heavy MSG, pepper, Oh, that's awesome. That'll go great. So we'll leave these separate since the dressing's gonna wilt the lettuce. We'll wait to mix these until we finish in with the dinner. As it is, I'm having someone come and fix the heater here because that broke on me. Thankfully, it broke right now. Like, it'd be a pain in the butt if it broke in, like, December. But I'm just waiting for the pan to warm up a little bit before we start going with our veggies. rather get going with our meat. Water temp. Or no. Poaching. You're cooking in a typically not like full boiling water. It's a calm situation, but still hot. Parboiling is boiling something but not cooking it completely. Like, you have parboiled rice that you can buy at the store. It happens a lot more in like restaurants and stuff like that. We'll par cook or parboil or partially cook things in mass, either to make sure that they all got properly cooked to a certain level, or just to cut down on the cook time, and then just finish them to order. How are you not, like, smoking yet? I'm now going to add salt to the meat. I didn't add salt earlier. I just seasoned it and oiled it. So now we got the salt in there. No problem. I just think of it as not at a full boil. I think you can poach things at much lower temperatures than just under boiling. Then again, there isn't really, like, it's just cooking in water. It could be the same thing as boiling, because they use the term poaching for, like, things like cooking fish in a dishwasher. Alright, we're switching sides here. This flame is not cutting it. Some of the words, I think, just we have a different word just because it sounds better with what you're doing it with. Like, you hear poached fish, you don't hear poached lobster as much. You don't hear, you don't necessarily poach crab. And at the same time, I don't really think of boiling salmon or boiling cod. Hey, hockey mask. Okay, we just wanted a little color on these, so I'm pulling these off now. I wanted to get that color on the pan too. So if I was doing a long cooked stew or something like that, I'd probably leave these in here longer. But we're doing a quicker version of this tonight. We're not going to absolutely turn our lamb into leather. They were selling deer legs at one of the markets I went to in China. Dried. Like that lower leg part on a deer where there's like no meat whatsoever. They were drying those. It was literally like a violin string of meat between the bone, or running along the bone. I was there for about 2 weeks, Pendo. It was a part of a trip that was arranged. It was an unofficial arrangement between one of the instructors at the Culinary Institute of America, where I was at, and her alma mater in China, which is their top culinary school. And so it was a 1 week in Chengdu with every day going to the college and doing mornings were instructional, showing how they do things in fine dining, and then in the evenings us cooking and trying to loosely replicate what they were doing. I mean, the chefs that they had working, like one of the chefs they had there for us doing demos worked in the palace, was like doing dumpling work that, like, he spent his life making dumplings. So, like, we weren't gonna copy that, but it was great for ideas and seeing how they do things. And Pinto, the fried chicken thing is because we created fried chicken in the South, and fried chicken as a dish got such a name as fried chicken that we started calling other things with the same batter and frying technique chicken fried. And so I think that what they're trying to tell you by fried chicken is it's probably like a patty or a chicken breast or something standardized that's been fried in that same method with all the seasoning on the outside. Exactly. Chicken fried steak is like the exact same thing as making normal chicken, but with a tenderized, cheap piece of steak. Okay, so we keep going with this loveliness over here. We get going in our... Oh, we need garlic. I didn't do garlic. Let's quick chop up a clove of garlic here. Make sure our burners are all off. Yeah, anyone want to start a diner? I saw an article for a diner for sale in upstate New York. It's probably the worst place in America to start a diner because there's like a half a dozen diners in upstate New York to compete against you. So you don't really have the whole we're a diner nostalgia thing. Like you're competing against other diners. But it's there. Apparently it had been moved there in 2007 to New York. And I'm sort of like, you spent the money to move and restore this thing and put it in a market where there's competition? Like, maybe there was, family or something in that decision, but on its own, that doesn't make sense. I know I have in the past. That one's a toughie. Yeah, I'm keeping the sprouts in there tonight. I'm not feeling like digging them all out. I don't think it's going to have that huge of an impact on things. Like, if you're doing a delicate Italian pasta dish, I understand you wanting that part out of there. We're doing a curry. Yeah, I've heard about sewer oil stuff in the past too, and it's always meh. I would say that there's probably worse things happening in real life that you don't realize are happening. Then it's just an easy one to be like, well, look at this disgusting thing that people are like. I'm not even going to claim that this is going to be a good curry tonight, chat. We do want to keep this... no, we don't. We want to leave that as it is. Heat back on the stove. I did not have a huge amount of like street food experience when I went there. It was very China when I went there. It was a very guided, very organized thing. We had some free time as a group, but we were there as a group. You know, we weren't going into the seedy, nasty things or anything like that. We were looking to actually make it back home. But I would suspect that in just about any cheap part of the world where things are really run down, that sort of thing probably occurs. Alright, now we got decent heat going in there again. We'll throw our garlic in there quick. Give that a quick turnaround. And that's sticking already, so let's throw everything else in there. Salt. Just pull up all that stuff off the bottom there and get it all with the veggies so it's not just burning on the bottom. China doesn't have enough land, and their land to grow things is not as fertile as the US. And so they got a lot of people, they got a lot of mouths to feed. They're going to do it any way they can. I mean, they're fishing the whole world. Like, they have literally fishing ships around the entire world. Like, there's a lot of advantages in... Let's not get into that conversation. But very different world. All the way around. So this is my curry paste that I've purchased. I'm just squeezing most of it out. Or most of it down. Into a big block. And turn that down a little bit because I want to, behind it, melt some chicken stock. From my understanding, they have like motherships or larger ships that the smaller ships will offload onto. And most fish ships, most fishermen, most fishing boats these days have the ability to freeze their catch. And so it's like, by the way, chat, you realize that basically everything that you buy at the store as far as fish that is fresh and like not frozen fish was most likely just defrosted. So when it's frozen, it makes it a lot easier to, you can take a couple weeks. You don't want to, but you can. Ooh. Hi, Maz. Thank you for the resub. Oh, why am I on that screen? That was the screen I wanted. That one's got all the action going on. We got the stock melting up there. We got the meat chilling. We got the veggies slowly simmering over here. Correct. Couscous is closer to pasta than it is rice. In fact, it is basically pasta. Because if you look at the ingredients here, durum wheat semolina. It's just completely different region from Italy. And there's two versions of it. There's the version that I'm doing tonight, which is the original or old school or the couscous that certain nations is their national food. And then there's Israeli couscous, which is like the pearl couscous, which is like the... I have some. This is pearl couscous. Whereas couscous we're making tonight is going to be more light and fluffy and soft, and it doesn't really have a defined shape, and it's much smaller. But it's almost like if you had boiled pasta and it came out looking like breadcrumbs. I typically find it to be a bit lighter than your typical pasta, too. The pearl kind you probably get mixed up with risottos because they have similar... They're the type of pasta that is most commonly used from Italy instead of for pearl pasta is very similar. I think it's because, like, if anyone remembers, like, back in the day, like, I'm thinking 80s, maybe early 90s, and you can still sort of find it every once in a while, but versions of rice pilaf that have that, like, piece of pasta rice that's in there with that gets all mixed up in with all of this, too. At least in with the namings in other languages. Like, they're all sort of, like, all jumbled together in other languages. I'm just waiting for this to come back to a full sizzle and get rid of all that moisture that I threw in there before I add the curry base in there. Oh, none of you had the rice pilaf with the, like, almost occasional, like, almost like orange colored or off colored piece of rice in it? And you thought you were eating healthy because it was rice pilaf, but they were just secretly putting pieces of pasta in there and making it cheaper? Let me see here. Yeah. The big pieces you might find in rice pilaf are either orzo pasta or vermicelli types of pasta. Alright, we're back to sauteing over here. So I am going to add in our curry paste mixture. If I can. It's not cooperating, chat. Oops. Come back, music. Come back. We're mostly melted here with our stock. So I'm going to measure 2 cups of that for making our couscous. It was 2 cups I need, right? According to the box. Yep. Have a great one, Penta. Alright, so we got our 2 cups for our couscous. I'm going to throw the rest in here with the curry, because we need liquid in here. I'm not a big coconut fan, so I'm not going to add coconut milk. So let's add some other flavor in there. And I'm going to add some other dairy in here, but a little bit later. Stock, go back over here. Back to heating that up to a boil. And yeah, this is going to need a bit more liquid. So actually, do I have regular whole milk down here still? Nope, that's gone. Hey chat, remember to make sure and protect yourself from the leading cause of dried skin. Towels. Alright, we got this going nicely. I'm going to cut the heat on that. Heat is off on the curry. Now we're adding in our couscous to start its boil. We want to add, oh, let's do butter. Let's do butter. We obviously need some salt in there with that too. Make sure we're still at a boil. And lid on that and flame off, even though it's a dirty lid. Okay, curry. We're going to add our lamb in there now. And in the pan we are holding the lamb in, we're going to saute our veggies for the couscous. Not even a single cringe for my bad dad joke? Sad. was the wrong choice for this. Salt. Celery's in there with our red onion now. Giving the celery longer than the bell pepper because it's just so crunchy. Crunchy celery, chat. It's crunchy. Now in with the red bell. Pepper. Bit more salt. Did I get rid? Oh, there it is. It's staring me in the face. Face. Place? What's a place? Little red pepper. Pepper thick. Little heat. Yep, captions. That's what I said. Pepper Creek. Wonder what could have given me the idea to make chicken tacos. Heat off on the veggies now. So we'll take our veg off the stove here and go over the cutting board. We're just giving couscous just a minute longer to make sure it all heats through. Let's get ourselves a water. Where is my water? My water's been back here the whole time. Here's our finished couscous. And like a rice, they sell couscous next to the rice, so I can sort of understand the confusion with rice, but that is pretty far from a rice texture to me. It's light, it's fluffy, it's a little sticky right now, but you give it a moment to allow it to dry out a little bit. Yeah. What am I doing? I got a spatula right here. And some of our still nice and warm and sitting here in the hot pan curry, still steaming as I put it on the plate. A little freeze-dried cilantro over the top, give it a little color. Get you all a close-up on that. Now for the salad. We got our onion, cucumber, we got our dressing of unknown name, yogurt and lemon champagne vinaigrette and herbs and spices, and just gonna be delicious. I can smell the yogurt. It smells great. Do a bit of fresh salt and pepper. Want to make sure I got some of the smaller stuff in there too that may have fell at the bottom of the mixing bowl. Sunflower seeds for a little crunch. Was thinking about carrot, and I'm not going to bother, but it would be nice for some color. Ooh, we can add that too. That'll go well in there. And do a little nutritional yeast over the top. Let's get some photos. Let's make sure my knife is not looking filthy. There we go, chat. There we have dinner for tonight. That's all amazing. Maybe a bit on the spicy side for my taste, but hey, I'm Midwest American white boy. I ain't heavy Indian. Give me burn my mouth off spice. It is damn tasty though. Got me coughing already. And I'm already certain I already tried this vinaigrette with the lettuce and was amazed at how it tasted. I'm sure this is going to be great. That is mighty tasty. Alright, folks. Sort of a quick one tonight. But I am happy with dinner tonight. I'll have photos up in the Discord as always. We have the ingredient challenge going on. Vote going on for not this next week, but the week after. I will not be here next week. I'm off and celebrating my cousin's wedding here next week. And so, taking some time off from the stream. It's all in the calendar there. I'm going to be, I'm doing Sunday and Monday. And then I'm going to be off until the 9th. So I hope to see you back here for Sunday and Monday. And then I'm going to be off until the 9th. Doing fried chicken tacos on Sunday. I don't know if I have plans in there for Monday or not. Do I have plans in the calendar? Monday might be a sort of clean out the kitchen dinner. That's probably a good plan. Make sure we got everything out since it's going to be a day or two where probably got food already covered for me. I hope you enjoyed hanging out with me tonight. I had a good night tonight. Decent night tonight. Food all went pretty straightforward. No major hiccups. Chat was nice. Had a nice talk about my old trailer. That was fun. Why don't we raid out tonight? Let's go say hi to dinner with Mom. I hope you all have a great evening. It looks like she's doing some grilling. She's got some kebabs or something along that line going on. Always a good time with dinner with Mom, so I hope you enjoy hanging out with her. I hope to see you back here for dinner with Chef JT on Sunday night. Good night, folks.